Hi everybody, I hope you're all having a great day. This is our second interview in our series of interviews, and today it's with our lovely guest speaker here, Tej from Tej Talks Podcast. Tej has a lot of property knowledge in the business, you know, from auctions to buy refurbishment finance to branding, but he's definitely most known for this lovely yellow t-shirt that he's wearing here.
Thank you very much, thank you, it's my colour.
And he also loves Nando's and talking about Japanese knotweed.
I do, at the same time, often.
Yes, definitely. I'm going to just kick off with a bit about branding, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
The first question is, why do you need a brand?
Sure, so I think the brand functions as, I guess, maybe it has two or three main functions. Now, the first one is, it is your shop front. It is what you're doing day to day, it's how hard you're working, it's the properties you're buying, it's the business you're doing, the people you're meeting, the people you interact with. It's a window into the front of your shop, which is, you know, the pretty stuff, the buying properties, making money, blah, 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 working with investors. But also, it's then a window into the back end of the office, of the shop, as to, okay, what goes into this to make it function? And I think, you know, nowadays, where can we, you know, how can we access what's going on in your lives when you're sourcing properties day to day? Like, there's no easier way to do it than by having a brand that people want to look through. So, and the second one, I think it also allows you to connect with people because they see the back end, they see the negative and the challenges. You know, it allows people to say, they're doing some interesting stuff. Do I want to buy a deal off them? Let me keep watching them. Let me see what they're about. Oh, that's a good deal. That's a good deal. Right, I'm ready to invest. And nowadays, you know, how else can you even show people what you're doing? Well, you need social media. You need to be networking. You need a brand. And I think the importance of having a brand is probably showed in the results that people get. Like, if you speak to someone who has a big brand, I mean, I don't know, Gary Vee's probably too big. His results are very obvious. But I'll take, you know, me for example. I've raised hundreds of thousands of pounds, sometimes without even meeting the people. I've saved £100,000 in bad deals, in funding, in build teams, in delays, etc. And I've been educated for free by people every single week, day in, day out, and I've built a huge network. What have I done to do that? I built a brand. And it is time consuming and it does take time, but it's not the most difficult thing to do in the world. So for anyone who's interested in business, and I think in the future of business, you need to have your CV, you know, your shop front online, showing people what you're doing, allowing them to connect with you so that it can lead to more and more business, right? And one thing that people don't really talk about is the warmth. Like, what you want a brand, right? That someone sees you at an event, they say, oh, hey, George, you know, I heard you were talking about this. How's that deal going? Or, oh, I'm really sorry to hear about the subsidence you found in the house. You want people to come to you with, forget small talk, hey, how you doing? You want them to just say, how's that specific thing?
And I feel like that's exactly what we did when we first met you. I felt like we already knew you for like your brand, and you know, you put yourself out there. And I really respect the fact that you talk about all your mistakes as well, which is what a lot of investors don't do. And I mean, I like to see that. I like the transparency. Definitely, yeah.
Absolutely, and it gives me a platform to show that without feeling judged, right?
Yeah.
And that's the importance of a brand. And I think there's 101 reasons that I could share, but simply looking at the results, the fact that it is the future of business, and as sad as it might seem to maybe a different generation, it's just the way it's heading. You know, everything's online, everything's digital.
Yeah, definitely. So what mistakes do people make in their branding?
Great question, and one I haven't really thought about much until lately when I've been teaching people about branding. I'm thinking, hold on, I should speak about the things that people do wrong, because there's a lot of advice out there on branding, and a lot of it is correct, I think, a lot of it is good, but I think the main thing that people get wrong, and this encompasses lots of little mistakes within it, is thinking they have to be someone else. Like, a lot of people think we're in the 60s and we're in factories and we have to be suited and booted, stiff upper lip, I'm this perfect, you know, man of the house or whatever, you know, blue steel, nothing's going wrong, the world's collapsing behind me, but I'm showing the world I'm happy. When actually, back in the day, that would have worked, and maybe in some circles right now it does work, but people want to see, as you said before, the mistakes, the challenges, the things that go wrong. They want to see that you're a real human being, because we're all going to mess up, right? And we all do mess up and we learn from it. Now, that's the key, right? Like people say, oh, but Tej, if I show my mistakes, then an investor's going to be like, you're so careless, how can I invest with you? Yes, that's correct. But if you show your mistake and then you say, by the way, this is how I solved it and I thought of the solution and I fixed it, they're going to say, okay, I'm more likely to want to invest in her or him because yes, they made a mistake, they're human, and they fixed it. The amount of people in life, right, who go through life just making mistakes and not fixing them or not learning for them is actually huge. But when you're in an entrepreneurial circle, you don't realise that because everyone's kind of progressive in that way. So people need to show who they are, show their mistakes, show their challenges, because marketing and branding and just, well, life is about emotion, you know. We're talking about vulnerability. When you see an advert for a charity or for anything, animals dying, you know, kids who are homeless, anything, you think, oh, you know, they're vulnerable. You want to give to them. You want to help them, right? And it's that same vulnerability. What you'll find when you post mistakes and challenges are people aren't going to take the piss out of you. They're going to say, hey, I had the same thing. This is what I did. Now, what can you do about it? So be authentic and be authentically you, right? And that leads me to my next point, which is personality. So it's kind of similar to authenticity, but some people show the challenges and mistakes, but they don't show their quirks, right? Their foibles, they're who they are. You know, if you're a stamp collector, talk about it. If you're into oven cleaners, talk about it. There's going to be hundreds of thousands of people into the same niche that you're into. You need to share these things. And a lot of people say, oh, but I don't want to put my private life on Facebook. I don't want to tell everyone all this stuff. What I say to people is, and back to the shopfront analogy, you want to put your life there as much as you're comfortable, you know, but jump the boundaries a little bit. You want to show people, as soon as they go on your profile, hi, I'm Tej, this is what I do, here are my links to my profiles, let's talk. Because the way I see it is you're giving them 10 points of conversation. If your profile's bland and says, hi, I'm George, I lived in London, now I live in Wales, they're going to say, oh, how many people can connect with you? If someone lives in London and moved to Wales, they'll connect with you. But what about if you're into surfing or you're into technology or whatever? If you put that on your profile, I can say, oh, dude, I'm into that as well. Boom. Connection, warmth, we're having a talk. So authenticity, personality, and the last one is taking, well, let's generalize it. Generating poor quality content. Lack of grammar, lack of spelling, and this is like such a 2019 thing, but maybe lack of emoji use or poor emoji use, because that's how we communicate nowadays. And then also bad videos, bad photos. Rule of thirds, Google it, you're watching this, but you want your photos to be good quality. It's not expensive to get a good phone. People out here spending £1,000 on a phone. That's mad. That's about stamp duty on a property. I've not got £1,000 for a phone, but if you've spent that much, you have an incredible camera. So use it, right? And actually, it has grids. Go into setting and press grids. When you take photos, have good lighting, right? If the lighting is not good here, fine. Move over there. Move over there. Frame it correctly. Practice your facial expressions if you want to. Take it in front of cool backgrounds. Like, if you're walking somewhere and there's a really cool shot or a cool background, this is a big tip. Take a photo there. I don't care. Just take a photo. Because in the future, when you're looking through trying to generate content, you've got a nice framed, well-taken photo, so true, right? Yeah. So yeah, authenticity, personality, and not creating good quality content. That mechanically, with a few steps, you can take very good pictures and videos.
Definitely. And following from what you just said, if this video is bad quality, we're going to be blaming Hannah for her editing skills.
Yeah, we already agreed. Yep, definitely.
Please, can you give us some examples of good brands?
Absolutely. So, I think. Before I go into good brands, I'd like to give a shout out to an app or platform called Hype Auditor. If you think someone you follow is really good, has good content, has organic followers, use this app and check their following and see if they're real or not. Because I think what you'll find is a lot of people in a lot of industries have bought followers standard, especially some who are selling courses on this. So when you think someone has a good brand, just check them out first, just to make sure you're not following, someone who's pretending to be something they're not. I think examples of good brands, this is a good question, and I mean, look, Gary Vee is a great example of a good brand. And look, yes, he has loads of money, he has great cameras, he has D-Rock following him around, fine. But he has footage for years, right? He has subtitles on his videos, he has the kind of borders at the bottom and front, he has the one clip which sucks you in like, college sucks, and then it goes boop, and there's like a little thing, and then he gets into it. That that alone attracts so many people because they hear the one-liner and you're like, oh my god, well, why does Kai suck, Gary Vee? And then you find out. But most videos, because of lack of time, editing and skills, is just a straight video. Even mine are, because I haven't got the time to do what he does. But things like that give him I'd say a good digital brand. Now what makes him different, apart from good quality videos, pictures, captions, etc., is that, as far as we know, he does what he says. So his brand equals reputation. If he says, I'm going to go to a garage sale and make 100 grand a year and show you lot why you're all bitching and complaining that you're actually you have weak minds and you're not working hard enough, he'll do it. He's at garage sales every Friday, boot sales, like buying stuff and flipping it. But he makes like £1 million a week or whatever, but he's doing this. So I think for me, that level of authenticity, because you can't say to him, oh, you're just doing this. He's doing it, and he has millions in the bank account, right? And he's still doing it. That level of authenticity, I don't know many influencers at his level who do that. I think, Grant Cardone has a great brand. I think his brand is just very 10x Grant Cardone America, and that's cool. I don't personally connect with him whatsoever. He's a great speaker. Him and his wife, great. I think I prefer his wife to him because she just comes across. Maybe it's a British thing. She doesn't come across as in your face as him. But again, he's an example of a good personal brand. But I've also, on a side note, shown that not everyone is going to connect with your brand, right? I don't connect with him, but I'm sure you like Gary.
I personally don't connect with Grant. I don't very much.
There we go. So then there's two people who don't, but he has billions who do. So
yeah, definitely. I've seen. I mean, you can see his followers.
yeah, exactly, right. So it's one of those things. Now I think, speaking of doing what you say you're going to do, Monzo. So anyone who doesn't have a Monzo bank account, just get one. It's amazing. And the cards are like bright coral, which is the best color. Now they are a challenger bank who have pretty much thrashed every other bank at everything, every aspect of them. I can't really fault it in my experience. Now they have a wonderful color scheme, wonderful copywriters, wonderful branding, so their digital aspect is sorted. But again, they do exactly what they say they're going to do. And most banks, right, you go to HSBC, NatWest, they're huge companies. They ruin the economy, they build the economy. They're robots, they're cogs, they're very big cogs in our economy. But with Monzo, you kind of feel like you could speak to the CEO if you messaged him on LinkedIn, or you feel connected to them. And I guess, as entitled millennials that we are, we care about our companies and how they treat their staff, and we much prefer this over a traditional bank. I mean, if you look at bank adverts now, you'll see banks like HSBC saying, oh, we've now got a function where when you spend money, it shows it on your phone instantly. And it's like, huh? Monzo's had that for years. Starling's had it for years. And I'm thinking, who forced this shit? Because this has been around for years. And I think they, for me, exemplify the power of a brand. You can scare these fat cats in an industry that is very difficult to infiltrate through wonderful branding and wonderfully treating your customers right. So whatever niche you're in, whether you're in, let's say fitness, everyone's in fitness, right? Go on Instagram, there's plenty of six packs, plenty of legs out, plenty of everything in fitness and health. You can still come in there and bust everyone out if you build a wonderful brand and your reputation matches that. Yeah. So I think, Monzo, Gary Vee, I mean, there's a few other companies, Habito, they do mortgages for first-time buyers and now buy-to-lets. Their brand is very it's very interesting. Go have a look at it. But you know what, for me, it's a good brand is one that connects with people. So for the people watching, you might love a brand, we might hate it, and vice versa. But those are some examples that people can look at. And of course, Tej Talks, obviously, got to plug it. And you got a property as well, yeah. You look at these things and you can take inspiration from it. Yeah,
definitely. And I'd just like to say that Tej and I are actually going to see Grant Cardone and Gary Vee in November, so come along if you would like.
Yep. When's that, the 18th of November or something?
Yeah, and it's
something
in Birmingham.
Birmingham, come through, say hello.
So Tej, what are your top tips to build and improve your brand, like your golden nuggets?
Ooh, good question. The first one is start with what, where, who, why, and how. Oh, I actually got them all right. Just like back in year 6, when you did English, you had to kind of say of the story, what, why, who, where, how. You need to start with your own personality and your own, I guess, kind of where you want to be and say, right, who am I? what am I doing, how am I doing it, and why am I doing it, which is a big one, and where am I doing it. And this needs to be written down, not digitally, it has to be written down with a pen and paper. For all the youngsters out there, yes, we do still use this stuff. I make myself sound really old when I say that. Write this stuff down, right, and just look at it, and like, this is a bit philosophical, but understand who you are as a person, right? Get that down on paper and think, right, these are my characteristics, this is who I am. How can I now get this, shape it into a brand? Because you don't want to be 3 months in thinking, oh, damn it, you know, I went in this to be like, all my houses are going to have marble, like it's going to be incredible, and now I'm like housing DSS tenants and it's all magnolia, and like, what's my brand? Like, business changes, things change, but your core values of who you are and who you come across as shouldn't change. Now, this should be the easiest part of a brand because you know yourself. So you're just asking yourself, right, what do I like, what do I not like? How am I going to do this? And I think the how and why are really important in a brand. So, you know, if your mission is, right, I'm going to change the housing, market in Caerphilly, right? You need to be like, okay, what's it like currently? How am I going to change it? How am I showing I'm going to change it? At the same time, whilst also thinking, how am I actually going to change it? And how can I show people I'm changing it? Do I need before and afters? Do I need to interview landlords and sort of say, look how crap your properties are? Like, what do I need to do to actually convey to people I'm doing this? Because I think with digitalness, like on video, camera, audio, I think you can lose about, 20% of your personality. So sometimes people say, oh, be 20% more you, which is kind of difficult to do. But I think you need to know where you stand so that when you're posting, when you're doing things, you're thinking, right, is this showing why and how I'm doing it? Is this showing my core value? Now, I don't want people to get caught up on this. I barely think about this because it's so ingrained that my values are to add value, pure and simple. So it kind of becomes simple for me to do it. But you might have a HMO student accommodation thing, personal brand or company brand, that you want to appeal to students in London, right? And so then you really have to focus and stay on your why and on your how. But again, company and personal brands is a totally different discussion, but some of these tips will apply more to one than the other. So once you've done that, the next step is so what a lot of people do is, I haven't got time to post, like, got all these pictures sitting on my phone, I haven't posted them yet. Okay, get a scheduler, Later, Planoly, Buffer, Postify, and schedule them. Like, sometimes I sit on my phone like, right, what's going on? Okay, that selfie, that picture, let me select, let me send them, to my thing, get them all scheduled. And I do that probably once a month. So I build all the selfies up, put my little embossed logo on it, and I send them out and I write content. Now, everything I post, people say to me, like, they meet me in an event, oh, Tej, wait a minute, you're here. Instagram, you're just in Wales. I'm like, oh. I'm like, yeah, awkward. I posted that like a month ago. What did I post? Or some people are like, oh, Tej, you know what, your post today, like, I really liked it. And I'm like, thanks. Oh, yes, that was a good one. So I kind of had to become more aware of what I'm posting. But my stuff is totally scheduled for a month, 2-3 months in advance.
Yeah.
So what I have to do on social media is not the nitty gritty. I DM people, I like, I comment, I give engagement. So all the hard work's happened in the background, and a VA can schedule for you, but can't write your content necessarily. I'm kind of going through easily, so there's no excuse. Last one relates to no excuse. You need to schedule what I call brand time in your calendar. 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes of it, you're liking, commenting, engaging with people, building a community. Other 15 minutes, you're planning content for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you're recording content and uploading it for the other sort of 5 or 10 minutes. Planning is really straightforward. I won't go into it now. Planning, say a video, for example, getting it set up, right, recording the videos, cool, we're done, I'm gonna upload this. What I'd say though, with videos, if you can do it like that, if you've got a studio set up in your house or office, which is actually a really good idea. If not, with videos, do it in 2-3 hour long sessions. But with content writing and stuff like that, plan it out, and the other half, engage people. So one of the biggest mistakes people make is they don't engage. They post great content, but they don't comment, they don't like. And I look at their content and think, damn, this is shit hot content.
But they don't engage in it.
But they don't engage, so they get nothing back.
Yeah.
And so the content is just there in a forest,
and
no one's hearing the tree fall.
No, definitely, and that's really, really good. Good tips on branding. Really, really good. Tej, the information and content you've given us today has been absolutely brilliant, really valuable. Loads of people will really like this content.
I hope so.
And if you want to get more information and tips on building your brand, we'll put Tej's details along the bottom. And I recommend that you subscribe to his podcast and follow his social media to see when he's next speaking.
Yep, Tej Talks on everything. Thank you for having me.
Thanks,
George.
guys.
Appreciate it.